You're very welcome back. Still to come, we meet brave Michaela Morley. She's beaten the odds and she's here today with her mum Bridie to tell her story. She's delighted to be in studio with us. And our financial advisor Matthew O'Donoghue will be giving you the lowdown on how to lower your debt. That's all coming up.
But first, did you know that 1 in 4 people in Ireland have difficulty reading and writing? Well, today we meet a man who faced his fear head-on when he took on the challenge of appearing on RTE1's documentary Written Off. Let's take a look.
Oh, my little man. What can I say about him? I couldn't believe at such a young age he was buying Harry Potter books. And I found it, wow, what's going on here? A kid at 10 years of age. So that's kind of when I said at 40, I'm going to go back to school. That was for me, look, my son's 10. I'm going to go, I want to learn how to read a book as well. This is the first time I've started something in my life, and I've actually ended up finishing it. Even last night when I went back to Keith's house, I brought my certificate with me and I left it down on the ground. But every few minutes I'd pick it up and I go, do you know who gave me this? You know, and because the president gave me that. You know, the president of Ireland gave me a certificate, you know. Brilliant.
Andrew King and literacy tutor Kathleen Bennett, you're both very welcome. Andrew,
thank you.
That seemed like such a proud moment for you and a fantastic thing to get involved with. How did you get involved with Written Off?
I decided to go back into education. I was in Selbridge, the Career Path Centre, and one of the tutors, Alan Nala, approached me and asked me would I be interested in doing a documentary. I said, on literacy.
Yeah.
So I said, yeah, why not? Whoever thought about it. Had a go, had a exciting 8 weeks with Kathleen and Bobby and all the other 10 candidates. It was extremely amazing.
Yeah. Well, take us back to when you were a child. What happened that I suppose that your literacy didn't come through? You were diagnosed very later on with dyslexia, but did you? I suppose they just missed it at school, was it?
Well, I was kind of very lucky at my time when I was about in 4th class. First of all, I had to stay back a year. I was a little bit slow, and when they kind of found that out, there was a learning class, and I found then all my friends were moving on, and I wasn't really moving on, and at that time education wasn't for me, you know, and there was help there, but you just lose the will when all your friends move on a year ahead of you, and you know.
Did you find that you got the support in school, though?
I did, but I didn't want to learn then. You know, I lost the will of it all. But there was support there. But, you know, yeah, I was one of the lucky ones, you know.
So you left school early then, didn't you?
I left school at 14. You know, I said, after all my friends moving on, I had enough of it, you know.
So you went to work?
I was lucky enough, my parents had a fish and chip shop. So I started working in the fish and chip shop at a very young age, and just took it from there.
So, I mean, when you're out working, I mean, reading and writing is a part of everything that you do. It's part of instructions, it's a part of taking orders. How did you get around all of that?
Well, through having various jobs as well, I was lucky enough, I was, how do you say it? You just have a way of hiding things, you know.
But that takes an awful lot of smarts, I think, to be able to do that, devise systems so that people will never cop it.
Well, I found, like, with a menu, you kind of get to memorise it. Like, you could have 6 starters, and I might put S for starters and say starter number 2. And same with the main course, you could have 6 or 7 main courses. But you'd run into the chef and you'd kind of do Morse code, and after a while they just get used to you, you know. But if there's any problems, I just tell them what it is, and they then change it, you know. So
yeah, because in a fast-moving restaurant type situation, anyway, nobody wants to sit down for a big explanation. They need the information now. And obviously, you had everything on the tip of your tongue. Yeah. So you got around it.
Oh, you wing it.
Smarty.
You wing it. You know.
Kathleen, there are a lot of people out there who were like Andrew, having to work double time to get through stuff like that. 1/4 of the population have literacy problems. Why is it that high?
I suppose people often wonder that and ask the question why so many people have literacy difficulties. But if you take, like Andrew mentioned himself, that he had the support in school, but it just wasn't for him at that time. Also, maybe somebody left school due to an illness,
Yeah.
absent from school. Maybe they decided to leave school because they wanted to work. Some of the participants in the last TV programme, they talked about be volunteering to do chores within school, and at the time it was great. They were missing out on school. They were saying their friends were envious because they were outside, you know, doing other chores. But when they left school, they realised what a disservice had been done to them. They'd missed out on quite a bit of education. And, you know, sometimes people, a particular teacher they didn't get on with, or sometimes people say it was at the time school just wasn't for them.
Yeah.
And I think, as Andrew said, like the sports were there, but it just wasn't the right time for
What do you make of the cutbacks that are being announced now in the education system, and the fact that it almost feels like people can fall through the cracks by a kind of a combination of factors, and somebody being, again, intelligent enough to work their way around the system, that people can fall between the cracks? Do you think with the cutbacks that more of that could happen? Well,
there certainly is more danger that they will, and at present there are 1 in 10 children leaving school with literacy difficulties. At the moment, there are 45,000 people accessing their local VECs for adult literacy classes, and this represents just 9% of people with literacy difficulties. So there's certainly a lot of great work being done, a lot of more work to be done. So I think it's important that the budget stays at least constant to allow for this great work to continue.
You could tell that when Andrew got involved, the energy was there and the enthusiasm was there and the will to learn. What is the difference, the main difference you see between working with adults and working with children?
There's, I suppose, adults return to education because they want to, so they're motivated themselves. They set the curriculum. When somebody comes for adult literacy classes, you work on what the individual students, what they want, what their interests are. And I suppose that's why anyone who comes for literacy classes, they're surprised. It's very, very different to school. And it's also good fun as well. I think we had good fun, Andrew, in the written off the
Andrew,
first
you better
series.
say yes, she's looking at you. How did it change your life? What has happened since you got involved with written off?
Over the last year,
yeah,
it's given me the encouragement to start my own business. I'm not afraid to switch on the computer now and email people. I found now with starting up a business, I'm emailing the ESB board, the gas board, you know, and
you're writing up a storm.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
The spell checker is great on the PC as I found it, but you know, it's just giving me the confidence. You know, the hardest part is just to go and do it.
The first step.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. Like, it took me 40 years to realise, you know, it's for me.
Yeah.
You know, go and do it.
Yeah.
The world's your oyster after that. You know?
Brilliant. Well,
yeah.
I think
more volunteers are being, I suppose, sourced this time around again for written off. Tell us about that, Kathleen.
The second series will be due to be filmed early 2009, and I suppose we're here today to encourage people to pick up the phone, ring Nala on 1800 20 20 65, and to come forward if they want to improve their literacy. Now, literacy brought, you know, people think of reading, writing, spellings, numeracy. Also, Andrew mentioned computer literacy. So for some people to be able to email, and if people want to, maybe somebody doesn't want to get involved with the TV programme, but even to ring that number, see is it for them.
Okay.
And if not, to know that there is a free service in your local VEC. That if you don't want to do
take the first step, as Andrew said.
Exactly.
Kathleen and Andrew, thank you so much for coming
problem.
in to talk to us today. And as we said, if you'd like more information about Written Off and the National Adult Literacy Association, details are on our website, or you can free phone 1800 20 20 65. That's 1800 20 20 65.
Now